Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Crook and I'm your host for tonight's live training on the customer journey. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And how I do that is I provide a live training topic of around about 15 minutes in length on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it, most weeks here in the Garage Owners Network. So without further ado, let's get on with tonight's training topic, which is the customer journey, the Messy Hexagon. And what this is about is how you look at your marketing strategy as a more holistic approach instead of a single item. And the reason for this is because when you release your marketing into the world, the vast majority of your potential customers are simply not ready to buy. So in this training topic, garage owners will be guided through the process of the customer journey using the Messy Hexagon method. You will learn how to identify the key touch points and understand how potential customers interact with your business. This session will explain how to create detailed journey maps, helping you visualize and optimizing your marketing strategies. So we'll start with simply, what is the Messy Hexagon? The Messy Hexagon is a marketing concept that rethinks the traditional linear model of the customer journey. Reflecting the complexity of the modern consumer behavior, it draws from two related frameworks, Google's Messy Middle and James Hankin's the Hankins Hexagon. And it aims to address multifaceted and non-linear paths that consumers make towards making a purchase. So we'll start with outlining exactly what Google's Messy Middle is. And this is just a concept that suggests that consumers are caught in a complex loop of exploration and evaluation influenced by various touch points such as ads, reviews, and social media posts. This non-linear process means consumers often revisit stages multiple times before making a decision. And that's what Google's Messy Middle is all about. That was the idea. Then Hankins' Hexagon was developed by James Hankin, and this framework maps out the different routes a consumer might take on their journey to purchase. It also acknowledges the path can be straightforward or it can be highly convoluted. The hexagon identifies common paths, allowing marketers to focus on the key touch points. And it's a combination of Google's Messy Middle and the Hankins Hexagon that is what has become known as the Messy Hexagon. And this hybrid approach combines both the concepts, emphasizing the need for marketers to understand and engage with the varied and dynamic customer journeys. The approach helps in identifying key critical touch points and interactions that your consumers have with your business, thus enabling you to optimize your marketing strategy for better engagement and conversion. So to do that, you need to know what are the 6 common touch points that have been identified. So if you were to draw a hexagon, and the easiest way I find to draw a hexagon is to draw a square and then plonk a triangle on the top and on the bottom. And hey presto, not only do you have an hexagon, but you have an hexagon with a framework inside. And they will link the points of your hexagon to the different points on the customer journey once we identify what those touch points are. So at each point on your hexagon, you can write trigger, research, comparing competitors, experiencing the product, the need to buy, and making a purchase. So you've got these 6 touch points, and we'll go over them a couple of times. So if you missed it, you'll get to hear them again. And what we want to do is we want to try and give this some context. So I'm going to try and give you 2 different examples of a customer journey. They're very similar, but vastly different. And then I want you to think about how your marketing approach would work for either of these 2 customers. So the first one is all about Jane. Jane is a busy professional and suddenly notices a strange light on her car while driving to work. This serves as the trigger for her to start her journey towards getting her car diagnosed. So Jane at this point is at point 1 of the touch points, the trigger. And what's happened is the light has come on the dash. Jane begins her product research by searching online for potential garages near her. This research phase provides her with some potential candidates. So, having noticed a light on the dash, the trigger, Jane has moved on to the product research phase. She hasn't gone from trigger to purchase, which is a more linear journey. She's gone trigger, and now she's looked for a garage near her. She's doing some product research. And she's going to compare the competitors. And Jane compares the competitors in her location. She compares them by their service offering, customer reviews, pricing, and proximity to her location. She then checks their websites for information about diagnostic equipment and expertise, and Jane narrows down her choices to 2 reputable garages. So you can see the next touch point for Jane is comparing the competitors. So the light has come on, which was the trigger. She searched for garages local to her, which was her product research. Now she's gone into the competitor stage, and she's done this by visiting the various websites and then looking for as she understands it, the key things that's going to influence her decision to experience the product. So at this point, Jane decides to call one of the top-rated garages to experience the product. She is greeted by a friendly member of staff who explains the diagnostic process and assures her of their expertise. She feels confident that they will be able to fix it. She calls another garage, who also answer the calls, but simply takes her number, promising to call her back in 10 minutes. Jane thought they appeared really busy, but uninterested in her plight, and they never called her back. So we've gone from the light coming on the trigger, searching online for garages near her, the product research, comparing the competitors, a quick trawl of their websites, to experience the product, calling the 2 garages, the 2 highest rated garages in her local area that satisfied her criterion for a garage to look at a car. The next day, the light has gone off. Jane decides not to make it a booking right now because the car is driving normally. So now Jane has no need to buy. So the need to buy touch point could be immediate, or it could be in a day, it could be in a month, it could be in a year. We don't know when the customer is going to need to buy. So we've gone now from the trigger, the light, the product research, garages near her, comparing the competitors, having a quick look around the websites, experiencing the product, making a couple of calls, to narrowing it down to a particular garage. And this is the purchase decision. A few weeks later, the light returns. Concerned, she decides it's time to address the issue before it becomes a bigger problem. Jane starts the process again and is reminded of the professional manner of the garage when they again appear in her local search. This time, Jane calls and immediately makes a booking. So what's changed now? Because effectively, she started again. She's gone back to the trigger, which was the light coming back on. She's done her product research. She's searched for garages near her. Instead, when she gets to the competitor stage, she's immediately reminded of the experience she had with one of the garages. And she immediately calls them and makes a booking because the need to buy is now, and she makes a purchase. So although she visits some of the touch points more than once, she doesn't visit them all more than once, and she has to go round and round until it's time to make a purchasing decision, the right or the need to buy touch point. So that was Jane's journey. Now we're going to look at a slightly different scenario this time, and this time we're going to consider a gentleman called Jack. And Jack loves his car, and he has just been chatting to his mates about the latest high-performance tyres. This serves as the trigger for him to start his journey towards getting the best tyres for his car. Jack begins his product research by searching online for more reviews and potential garages that can supply and fit his tyres of choice. This research phase provides him with some choices. Jack compares the garages he has selected by their service offering and customer reviews. He also checks their website for information about their tyre fitting and wheel alignment service. Jack narrows down his choices to 2 reputable garages. Jack decides to call one of the top-rated garages to experience the product. He is greeted by a friendly member of staff who explains the merits of the various tyres and assures him of their expertise. He feels confident that they will look after his pride and joy, his car. The other garage answers the call and tries to sell him a cheaper tyre that they have in stock. They take his number, promising to call back with a quote for the unnecessary, more expensive alternatives, as they called it. But they never call back. Jack knows he has at least 4mm of tread left and will save up for the Carlos Fandangos that he desires. A few months later, he checks his tread depths and decides it's time to buy new tyres. Despite the garage of choice being further away, he will drive past several other garages, including the one he called that tried to sell him the cheaper alternatives, to have a set of four brand new tyres fitted. This time, Jack makes the booking. So throughout both journeys, the decisions and touch points illustrate the complex and non-linear nature of the Messy Hexagon framework. As potential customers navigate through multiple stages, they will revisit some as they gather information, evaluate their options, and ultimately decide to make a booking. So examine your social media. Examine your overall marketing strategy. Because if all you do is that shotgun approach of every now and again when someone's got time is to fire a few posts onto social media with a list of your service, the only person you can hope to capture is a potential customer who you trigger with that post and has an immediate need to buy. This is the vast minority of your customers or potential customers. The rest will scroll past until they are in a position where they need your help and have been triggered, and the need to buy is now. Even then, they will still do their research. They will still compare competitors and maybe even experience the product before they ultimately make a purchasing decision. The sales funnel is no longer a straight line. To successfully win customers on any point in this complex journey, you need to be visible, your marketing needs to be consistent, and you need to be ready to invest in longer term conversations. So what does that look like? Well, if you think about the examples, and we can use Jack or James, but we'll use James to start with. Jane was looking for someone to diagnose her vehicle, and her immediate search led her to search for garages near her. And a fantastic way of being found on that kind of search is using a Google business profile. And that does that very, very effectively for you. So what's your Google business profile like? Would it be likely to capture someone like Jane? A new customer to the area, possibly, busy, hasn't got much time to faff about and spend too much time looking at this, but savvy enough to be able to weed the wheat from the chaff by comparing the garages within that search. And how did she compare them? Well, she looked for whether or not they were local, because she's busy. She looked then to see if they did diagnostics, their service offering, and then they looked at the customer reviews. She also included pricing. Now, we don't know what her criteria was for the pricing, but you want to attract the right type of customer. So a busy professional probably wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for a premium service. So it's not about being the lowest price, it's being the right price for that customer. And then when Jane decided to call one of the two garages she narrowed her choice down to, now both garages could have been very, very well equipped and in a great position to help Jane. However, one took time to explain the process and assure her of their expertise by being professional, courteous, and having the answers that she needed. And she felt very confident they'd be able to fix it. Whereas the other garage appeared really busy to her and not that sympathetic. Promised to call back and didn't. They lost the customer trust right there. However, when Jane didn't need to buy because the light went out the next day, she started the journey again. And the thing that stuck in her mind when she started the research phase was the garage, the two garages she remembered from before was the one that helped her or appeared to be able willing to help her most. And that's when she made the booking. So if you think about your marketing, it's more than just a few Facebook posts. And if we compare that same journey or similar journey with Jack's, now Jack, completely different kettle of fish. He loves his car. So this, although tyres are often considered a distress purchase, Jack had been thinking about these tyres and the particular type of tyres that he wanted. Jack was knowledgeable, he's very interested in his car, and basically started his by doing an online search. He didn't do a local search because for Jack's situation, it wasn't about the closest, the most convenient. It was about the best, the one that suited him and his needs uh, the best. He wanted someone who would be able to fit the tyres and do the wheel alignment. And he was looking online for probably other vehicles and customers a bit like him. He wouldn't know that by looking at the images and the social media posts and whatever else it was. And Jack's need wasn't triggered by, as we said, a distress purchase. Jack's trigger was talking about the latest high performance tyres. However, when he narrowed down his search by customer reviews and whether or not they had a four-wheel alignment service, because that's the two criterion Jack needed in his head to select a garage. Yeah. When he experienced the product, he connected with the garages. One, he was mentored by a friendly member of staff who explained the merits of various types of tyres, because he had some questions for them. And that assured them, because they had the answers, of their expertise. And he felt confident, based on all of the evidence he'd gathered, that they would be going to look after his car. Not that they would fix it, they would look after it. That was his criteria. Whereas the other garage basically tried to sell him a cheaper alternative. They didn't listen to what Jack was saying, probably, because they probably have some form of script and they were trying to sell the tyres they had, therefore it would be quicker, thinking they were serving the customer as best they could. However, he didn't want those. He wanted the more expensive ones. Now, that garage then promised to call back with a price for the unnecessary and more expensive alternatives. And that was the impression that garage gave Jack. They didn't call back. They lost the business. Remember that he's a car enthusiast. He knows how much tread was left on his tyres and he was saving up to buy them. So when he was ready to make the purchase, Jack's journey didn't need to start again because he already knew that he was going to go to the garage that was further away from him to make the booking. It just wasn't going to be immediately. So sometimes you feel customers are wasting your time, but they're not. You're investing in the customer journey. So you can see that it's not as straightforward as it used to be, because customers have in their hand, literally, by using their phone, the power of the entire internet to help them make purchasing decisions. And are they going to choose your business? The way to find that out, and the atomic action for tonight and this week, is create a customer journey using the Messy Hexagon method. So draw your hexagon, put on there your 6 touch points: the trigger, the product research, comparing the competitors, experiencing the product, the need to buy, and making a purchase. Put them at the 6 touch points, and then ask yourself, do your marketing touch points take into account the various customer journeys that could take place? And what do I mean by the customer journey? As you just saw with those, or heard with those 2 examples, from the trigger, the customer can go in just about any direction to get to the purchasing point. Now, they might go trigger purchase, very unlikely in today's climate, but you might go trigger need to buy, or they might go trigger product research, trigger competitors. And it doesn't matter which direction they go in. They might go round and round and round in the hexagon. That's why it's called a messy hexagon. It's not a straight line. Are your marketing touch points taking into account the potential customer journeys. So if you have to do it for anyone, do it for a new customer, for your primary product or service, and then if you get time, look at an existing customer. How may they go on this journey? How may they be reminded, triggered about one of the services you provide? And then look at how that works, and maybe have a sneaky peek at some of your competitors and see how they're coping with the Messy Hexagon. If I've made you think about how you do your marketing, then I've done my job. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.